Welcome, welcome. It's day 5 of the Live Energized 2017 7-day juice challenge. That's quite a mouthful, but here we are. We've arrived at day 5. Congratulations on all of the success and consistently and habit building you've done so far. I'm blown away. Really, really impressed. The gift you're giving yourself right now is phenomenal, and I just want you to just sit back for a second and consider carrying on this habit, the impact that's going to have on your life for the long term over the years to come. Adding that additional, like we talked about at the beginning, 1,800 or so serves of vegetables to your day every year, to your day, to your body, every single year. The impact that's going to have is just, you can't even imagine it. So well done to you. This does feel like just the beginning, but it feels like a beginning of something massive. And I'm really, really impressed and inspired by all of you. So well done. Day 5 today. This is going to be a reasonably quick video. We're talking about juice hacks today. So the things that you can start to implement now as you're building up your skills with your juicer, whether you're a veteran or whether you're someone that has juiced before but has fallen off the wagon and using this to get back on, or whether you're a complete beginner. I've had so many people in the Facebook group that have been like, I've got inspired and I've gone out and bought a juicer today to start the juice challenge today. That is just incredible. So for all of you, no matter where you're at, there's always room to refine and fine tune. So I'll say at the outset, if you've got any tips or tricks or hacks that you don't hear in this video, definitely share them in the Facebook group below this video. If you've got a tip that you want me to share and you're not in the Facebook group, email it to me so I can share it with everybody else, and I'll tell you what I'll do. I often have a habit of, on the spur of the moment, and these videos are all off the top of my head, on the spur of the moment, promising things to deliver. I tell you what I'll do, I'll get all of the tips together and I'll email them out to everyone. So let's have a massive share-a-thon. Today, these are my quick tips that I want to share with you to make it quicker, easier and more delicious, so that it's easier for you to keep this momentum going well into the future. And really, it's all about 3 key areas. It's about preparedness, it's about taste, and it's about boosting. So in the preparedness stakes, what I really want you to remember is pre-preparation is key for this. So there's a couple of things that I do to make juicing super fast in the mornings, because, you know, we're often in a hurry in the mornings and we don't want to be messing about in the kitchen too much. One of the main things is pre-washing everything as much as I can. So getting your bags of salad, your lettuces, getting them broken down, washed, cleaned, dried in the fridge in airtight containers, ready to use, is such a huge win. Not only for juicing, but for later in the day. One of the things that I teach, one of the big mantras in the Alkaline Base Camp with all of my members, is a side salad with every meal. And making that really quick and easy by pre-washing all of your leaves means that when it comes to making that side salad, you can just go grab, dressing, you're done, bang, out the door, that's your side salad. The same goes for juicing. Half of the time with juicing is in the washing and the prep at the start. So pre-washing all of your leaves, your celery, your carrots, your beetroots, and all of those things as you get home from the grocery store, out of the bag, under the sink, washed, and then into the fridge, just means that when you come to the morning, especially if you've got a juicer like a Kuvings that's got the big chute at the top, the stuff can just go straight in. Juicing it goes from being a 10-minute job to a 5-minute job immediately. The other thing that I want you to remember that you can do, and we've talked about this in the community a little bit, we talked about it a little bit in the Q&A session on day 3, is making juice in mini bulk, is how I call it. So you're not making it in bulk and freezing heaps like you would with a soup or a curry or something like that, but you're making twice as much as you need in the instant, so you can use the other half either later or the next day. For a lot of people when they're first starting out in the Alkaline Base Camp, I advise them to do this because it just cuts that preparation time effectively in half. Making 2 juices takes the same amount of time as making 1 juice. So don't be afraid to make twice as much as you need today in order to store some and have the second serve tomorrow. The only rules to this are store it in an airtight container, store it in the fridge. The enemies of juice are similar to the enemies of fats and oils, which is air, heat and light. So getting it into the fridge, keeping it cool in an airtight container, the fridge is dark, you should be set. If you want to make sure, drop a couple of cubes of ice in there before you seal it off and put it away. The next day that juice will still basically be fresh. There will be purists out there that are saying, oh, but the moment you've juiced something, the nutrients all start to die, That's the minutiae that I don't want you to get caught up in. Don't get caught up in the minor details that aren't really going to make a difference. Even if you're only getting 80% of the goodness from that juice, but it means you're going to have a juice every single day, I would way rather you do that than have a juice every second day, but only have, you know, 3 a week instead of 6 a week, if that makes sense. So they're the two main tips for speeding things up. When it comes to, there's another tip. Always wash your juicer as soon as you've finished. Most people, if you've made juices before, you only make that mistake once, but that pulp and all those bits and pieces getting caught on that juicer takes cleaning your juicer from being a 1-minute job to a 20-minute job. So always wash up immediately. That's super important. Making it tastier is probably the most important element for a lot of people, and mixing up the taste, because most juices are going to have a combination that's going to include a base of celery and cucumber with an array of leaves and then something else like a beetroot or a carrot or a capsicum or that sort of thing. Varying up that flavour can make a huge difference and really keep you going when you're starting to feel, do I want another juice, and all that. It helps you with the motivation if you can add that novelty and that variety to the flavour. So there's a few things that I recommend. The easiest and most basic is to just simply squeeze some lemon or lime into your green juice. When you're finished, give it a stir. Completely changes the flavour profile, absolutely. Another tip is to use herbs. Coriander, often called cilantro in the US, basil, pronounced basil in the US. Those two particularly can alter the flavour considerably. Coriander takes it in one direction. Basil almost gives it a sweetness. I really love using those two to mix things up a little bit. The other herbs do to a degree, but they're more sort of down that sort of leafy green taste. These two do actually have quite an impact on the flavour profile. Using ginger and turmeric, which you guys have already done during this week quite a bit, they can help mix it up. If you haven't used it for a while, to chuck those in as well. Those can really help. I have known people to use garlic in their juices, which is delicious. If you're doing more of a kind of tomato, capsicum, carrot direction juice, adding some garlic can really give it that sort of almost gazpacho kind of taste. But I will warn you, your next 3 or 4 juices that you make will also have a hint of garlic taste to them as well. So you've been warned with that one. If you can find some sort of natural cleaner that can completely remove the taste of garlic, let me know. I haven't found one yet, but that is a good way to go. Coconut water is also a great tip to add that in. If you're diluting down your juice, pour it into your juice chute to help wash all extra goodness out of the juice as it's going in. But coconut water, just 100 mils of coconut water into your juice can really give it a much more of a sweetness and that tropical kind of flavour. But even more so than that, and this is a tip I learned, I can't remember who from, but it was such a blew my mind when I first learned it. And when we did the interview with Chris Carr for the Alkaline Base Camp, because she's just the queen of juices, and I was like, hey, you should add almond milk to your juice to see how that goes. She was like, what? She'd never heard of it, so I can't remember where I heard it from, but if you know where that came from, let me know, because they were flipping genius. That adding almond milk or any other nut milk into your juices when you've finished completely changes the texture and the flavour profile and almost makes it taste like a smoothie, especially if you use homemade almond milk, which you can make with quite a few juices these days. That can really help as well. So those are just a few tips to help you change that flavour profile. The lemons, the herbs, the coconut water, ginger and turmeric, the almond milk. There's lots of different ways you can do this. If you've been having green juices for a while, go down that more tomatoey route. If you've been going in that way for a while, go back to the green stuff. You've just got to keep that variety and that novelty, I find, otherwise you will just get so used to the taste. And look, the body does get used to consistency of nutrients as well, so it's good to mix up your ingredients every now and again as well, just to give that body that like shock and that kickstart with some new juice ingredients as well. So that's how to make it tastier. Boosters is the last section that I want to just quickly touch upon, because there's lots of ways that you can add things into your juice to make it, to kickstart it more, and supplements is one of those things. I know that there's quite a few people that have started now to blend in a protein powder into their juices, which is Definitely takes it in more of a smoothie direction, but is a really good way to add in some bulk and add in some protein that will add that satiation, that feeling of fullness, so that your juice makes you feel fuller for longer. But I also love to add in a grass powder, whether that's a straight wheatgrass or barley grass, or whether it's a mix of greens, you know, a green powder effectively, that I'm sure most of you will have seen around the traps. That really can help to boost your green drink to a whole new level. Adding in that turmeric, of course, adds that anti-inflammatory hit. You can also stir in some turmeric powder. I generally use about 1 centimetre of root ginger when I'm juicing, or per person for recipes like curries and things. About 1 teaspoon or 1.5 teaspoons would be the equivalent of the powder. Adding in cinnamon will give your body, as you will see in today's juice, the fat flusher juice, will give your metabolism a massive boost. Adding in 1/2 teaspoon of cinnamon is probably enough per person, so 1 teaspoon for 2 in a juice is another way to really boost it up. You can also add colloidal minerals, drops of colloidal minerals, drops of colloidal silver. There's a million ways, but just think, how can I supplement my green juice? How can I add supplementation to this juice to really take it to a new level? For people that are fighting candida, caprylic acid, so either just stirring in some coconut oil, which is naturally occurring caprylic acid, or getting a caprylic acid supplement into there, digestive hormones. There's a million different ways that you can do this, but just be thinking, how can I boost this juice? I hope those tips are useful and I hope they're helpful. And like I said, we're on day 5 now. We're nearing the end and you have done fantastically well. I really want to see your juice picture again in the community, and thank you for everyone contributing to the community. It's become such an amazing place. I'm so just delighted at how well that's all kicked off and is going. It's just, like I said, in the Alkaline Base Camp every month, I give so much training and materials and stuff to my members to help them along their journey. Masterclasses, videos, interviews, Q&As, new meal plans based around all different goals like quitting sugar and balancing hormones and losing weight and getting energy and all these recipes and all that stuff. But it's the community that really is just the biggest benefit of that group. It's that support, that supporting, the coming together, the getting obviously access to me one-on-one and asking me questions all the time is obviously a big benefit to it, which I know a lot of you guys in the Facebook group for the Juice Challenge have really loved having that access to me. So yeah, thank you to all of you who have continued to make the Juice Challenge Facebook group an amazingly enjoyable experience for me and all of the other members. Well done to you. So get your pictures of your Fat Flusher juice uploaded. Tomorrow we're going to be going through, like I promised on days 1 and 2, the 4 core habits, the 4 core consistent actions that I believe from my years of coaching get the biggest success for people when they're first starting out. Like I said, I use them with all of the members in the Alkaline Base Camp to get them up and running and start getting them to their health goals incredibly quickly. It's just 4 core actions. We're going to go deep on those tomorrow, so come back for tomorrow's video on day 6. We're almost at the end. Can't wait to see you again. Thanks so much. Have a great day. Enjoy your juice.